What's going on, guys? It's Mike Hood from Dormville. First off, I'd like to thank you guys for checking out this week's episode. It's going to be great. I'd also like to say thank you for sticking with us through our technical difficulties. I know last week's episode wasn't the best quality, but we fixed it, and this episode should be way better. I hope you enjoyed this interview. Let's get right into it.
Evening, Beavis, I know you stay scheming, but could you tell me why? Cause I would rather freelance, yeah, until the day I stop breathing, spit concrete to solidify my feelings.
What's going on, everybody? It's Dormville. I'm Mike Hood. This is my co-host, Backstage Phantom, and we're here with special guest today, rapper Jade from DeadMoon. How you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're chilling, bro. So first, I'd like to ask you, what got you into music? How'd you start rapping?
Rapping. I started, it all started from poetry, to be honest. Back in maybe the end of junior high to beginning of high school.
Mm-hmm.
I fell heavily with interest into writing poetry because I don't know, just something about it, it's a way of helping me understand things a little clearer. And I like the storytelling that also goes behind it. If, the poem is written properly. And from that, I tried to incorporate that onto music. And that's how I started with digging into hip hop. I'm a very old school cat. So when it comes to music, I have a very picky ear.
Yeah, we saw that because on the DeadMoonTribe Instagram, we saw that it was like old school boom bap. It wasn't like that modern rap trap. Like everyone has an 808 in every song that they have. It's more of a chill melodic type, lo-fi type vibes that you're going for.
Yeah, about that, I can never find myself to rap on an 808 beat, with the thousand hi-hats and snares that they add into it nowadays. You know what I mean?
Just going as fast as possible. It's no one could actually play that on a real drum. So it's you can't replicate that if you want a real natural sound.
And on top of that, I feel like the vibe that gives out is something you'd have to be either really intoxicated to kind of vibe with. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
so club beat type music.
Yes, it's like booty music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just always wanted to create something that I can relate to because I don't make music to impress anybody. I just want to make music that I can vibe with because music has always been very important to me, and it's always helped me through bad days and bad situations. You put on a song that kind of relates to what you're going through, or just a vibe that you just relax to, you know what I mean? It's always I don't feel like music should be tampered with the way they do.
Right. So how do you feel about sampling? Whenever someone goes and they take an old beat and then they go and they sample it, flip it, chop it up or whatever. How do you feel about stuff like that?
Oh, bro, that's if done properly, because when it started, the beats that I like, they're very like people say they're very vintage and repetitive or just simple or something like that, and I'm just bro, I dig the simplicity of it. It's the jazz or just the vibe that it provides, because I feel like the simpler the beat, the harder the artist has to think to on creativity wise, to make the song, because nowadays it's just the beats very hardcore and then the lyrics are very simple. I feel like it's vice versa now.
So do you feel people rather you go to a party, everyone's just turn on Gucci Gang. People aren't listening to the actual lyrics. It's more about that beat's harder. Let me hear that beat. Let me hear that 808 kick. Let me hear this, that, rather than turn whatever song on and he's saying something versus
I feel like people don't want to hear that because everybody the group that they're targeting, I feel because everybody, has a life of their own, and then they're always working. They're facing reality every day. So when they want to, when the weekend comes or when they party or whatever, they want to listen to stuff that just wants them to get loose with, they don't really want to think too much about it because they already do that every day. So I just feel Yeah, yes, there are people out there that do want this type of music. It's just not the majority, I feel like, because yeah, I don't know. I do wish I do hope that more people, want substance in their music and like care about what they put into their temple and versus, just letting this garbage, overrun their psyche and stuff.
Yeah, I mean that would be nice. It's that like I think like part of the reason why rap has like gotten as popular as it has is because like people have found a way to kind of like homogenize it and make it into a platform that's so easily digestible or like something that like the mainstream could just like like you said um get out of
To make
touch with reality too or something like
Yeah.
that. Like yeah. And the thing is, and like the main criticism that like people had with rap before, I feel like, is that it's too gritty, it's too like dirty. Like people aren't trying to like hear all that stuff, and it's just like it's
Mhm.
it's pretty sad. Like, do you agree?
Yes, totally. Because now it's all about what's marketable and what's not,
Right.
and it's all about profit. There's no really substance behind what they're doing. I don't think. I mean, yes, there's still great artists out there. Say, Kendrick, J.
Mm.
Cole.
Right.
People. Yeah, people that still doing it for the love of music and just for the love of music and not for the attention and everybody else is doing. But it's just not much of it.
Yeah, do you think that within probably I'd say like the next 10 years, do you think that there will be like a renaissance in rap to where it's like it flips back to people telling more stories since we have Coles that are bringing up like artists in Dreamville, and then you have Kendrick who's he's part of TDE, and like all of their artists seem to be able to tell a story and get something across.
Yes.
Do you think that they'll propel music forward, or do you think that it's just going to continue to be this like what people want to hear because they just want to hear it like as throwaway music?
I feel like mainstream wise, it's gonna stay the same. They're gonna keep doing what they're doing regardless. But when it comes to like just like the music, like industrially, I feel like there will be artists that will try their best to keep the art alive because there's many inspirations out there. There's a lot of great artists out there that's still doing it and still inspiring kids every day. But I think it all ultimately comes down to the generation and what like the drive behind it. It takes because it's all up to the youth, man. Like 10 years from now, you're saying this 10 years from now, bro, we're gonna be like 30. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so like it's really up to the next generation. You know what I mean? It's the next generation that's gonna have this talk that we're having right now. That's thinking the way. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, yeah, it's I don't know. I think it would be a sight to see though, but I don't think that uh I don't think it's gonna be much different than what you see nowadays, unless uh, okay, this is very unfortunate to say, but unless more artists like pass away due to drugs and this and that and
Right.
perpetuating that through their music, they're gonna somehow find a way to shut it down and be like, hey, no, this genre is this and that is and it's corrupting the youth or this, and then there's gonna be a mourning period where people's like, hey, what happened to the real hip hop back in the days when they brought awareness to stuff like this and spoke out on stuff like this, and people are gonna, I believe, but that's very unfortunate to have to rely to that on that outcome, but I believe that's what it's
Yeah.
have to take.
With that though, Denzel Curry, I think I want to say it was in Cloud Cobain or it was on Perks when he talks about Little Peep died, ain't shit happened, Little Peep just died or something like that, and it's like like, I felt like he was just kind of like y'all all talked about like, oh, this kid had an overdose, this kid was like deep, like doing drugs like heavy,
Yeah,
and everyone
everybody
talked
blamed
about
it.
it, and then just
Yeah, everybody blamed it on the kid. But no, nobody looked at the drugs. Like, hey, nobody thought, hey, maybe we should focus more on what's really causing the problem instead of because look, as a kid, man, I'm pretty sure you've done some things, questionable things in the past. I've done some questionable things in the past, and like, who is it to blame? Like, are we really gonna blame every single kid, or are we just gonna look at things more reasonably? You know what I mean?
right.
Right.
Because like I mean, especially because like right now, we have like the opioid epidemic and everything, and it's like kids are like out here just avidly getting hooked on drugs, and then
Yes.
they see all these like rappers that are just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get a face tattoo because I'm off four Zans and I just smoked a good blunt, like,
Yeah, and that's
and
all they rap about, bro, and
yeah.
that's all they project and promote, and that's they don't see that as a problem, but it will be. It will be.
What do you think the like? How do you think that conscious rap, I should say, is gonna like would ever get pushed into the mainstream?
Whatever. I've conscious rap has been around for a long time, bro. I mean, like, if you ever listen to Rhyme Sayers, Brother Ali,
Yeah,
he's been,
yeah,
yeah, he's been, doing his thing for Immortal Technique. He's been
right.
doing his, yeah, he's been doing his thing for the long. I mean, one of the greatest inspirations ever. But the thing is, like, they don't get the attention that they deserve because of the way like the world runs, because of the market, what's marketable and what's not, because people don't want to hear that. People don't want the truth right in their face. People don't want to get slapped with reality because they deal with reality every day. So I don't know. I just feel like it would have to be something that they themselves can relate to. Unless they are put in that situation themselves, they can never, really, like, because you can't teach empathy, you know what I mean?
Right. So do you
So,
think
like,
like since we're like us as a country, we're like in a pivotal time and everything seems really polarized and whatnot, do
mhm.
you think that just with like social issues, like if rappers came out, like say Uzi came out and he like made a song and he was like, "We need to be the change. We need to go vote." Do you think like that would ever get as much radio play as "All My Friends Are Dead" type stuff?
Well, yes, because he has that platform, and he
Okay.
has that reach that that would enable him to touch the crowd the way he does with his music. And
Hmm.
if he does choose to do something like that, I believe it would make an impact, because that's what Triple X was doing before. He was just really trying to put a positive message out into his music,
Yeah.
and that did really make a shift, and it did really make a change. But if yes, and yes, so the answer to that question would be yes. If more rappers and that have that platform would come out and say, "Hey, this is what we need to focus on," then yes, it would make a change, and it would make a difference, because more people would see that, and more people would relate to it, because they I feel like it's in the back of everyone's mind. It's just they don't want to be the one that says it. They want
Right.
someone to guide them. They want someone to follow. They want someone to lead them, kind of.
Yeah, with that, like, who do you? Because we were talking about this the other day, just like off air and everything, and we were saying like all the older guys in rap, they either don't like they're either just like gone and they sit by themselves. Like Lil Wayne sits by himself, and then you have guys like Eminem, and Eminem's just like he's not picking up kids and like saying, "Hey, this is what you should do. This is how you need to like move."
He's just yelling.
Yeah, and so like, do you like who do you think that's like an old head that could mentor these kids? Because at this point, it just seems like all the older guys are either sitting by themselves or they're out there playing with the kids.
Oh, that's a very good question. Um, I believe KRS-One.
Yo, that's a good one.
KRS-One would definitely be able to kick some knowledge and some wisdom into these kids, and Mos Def and
Yeah.
Talib Black Star. Mos Def and Talib Kweli. They would, because they've always just had that truth in their music, and had that, like, just substance. Um, and I believe they have that like teacher credential. I think they can do it. Yeah.
How would you think? Like, how would you want them to go about doing it? Like, because I know, God, who is it? There's some rappers that they have like music schools and stuff like that, and then there's people that are like making their own labels or just like picking these kids up and like giving them to the labels that they know are like trustworthy. Would you like have them do stuff like that, or how would you let them go about
Hmm. I think if they were just to reach out to them more, just like speak to them on a more friend to friend level instead of a old head, new head kind of status. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just be like, hey, like I'm doing music, you doing music. I know times are different, but like let me just kick you some game. Like because no matter what, old head or not, they've been around longer. They've done some things. They've had more experience, and if like we as the younger generation would humble ourselves and listen, we could probably learn. We could probably learn something, But
Yeah.
I don't know how they would, do that because if I was put in a position like that, I wouldn't even know how to start. Like
Right. Yeah. How do you feel about Ti going out and like since I guess he's not old, but he's one of the older rappers that we have right now that's still relevant. How do you feel about him going out and like working in like the Atlanta community and like working on political campaigns and trying to make change?
Oh, I feel like that's the way it should be, and that's the way it always should be. Like rappers giving back to their community and doing stuff for the community, because the music in general, I feel like it should be for the community in general. It's just you're making music for a community, and like so to be able to give back, I feel like that's one of the more satisfying like results to come from your music.
Mm-hmm.
Because to have that ability to give back, because you go back to your community, everybody's like, hey, oh, I remember you. Yeah, you look at you, but you doing big things now, and it's a great feeling for both of you guys because and this is for the
Yo,
community and you as well.
how do you feel about those rappers that are? I don't like. I can't even single someone out for this because a lot of people do this. They're like, "Oh, yo, I'm from place A. I'm from place A," and then like they can be like, "Yo, my city shows me love. I love my city," but they never go back and they never like invest into like schools or they never invest into local government infrastructure. They never like put anything back into that community, but they continuously just kind of say like, "Oh yeah, that's where I'm from. That's where I'm from." But I go and I live, in like city B. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really pay attention to what they say. I just kind of watch what they do.
Right.
So like like as far as that goes, if they really, saying all that and they got all the love for it, but they're not showing it at all, I feel like it's just, eventually people will see for themselves, what kind of person they're dealing with and what they're following.
Right.
I feel like there's no need to really speak out on it. It's just the truth always reveals itself. So it's just a matter of time.
Tell us about DeadMoonTribe.
The DeadMoonTribe, what do you want to know?
Oh, just like okay, let's start with like the name because the name is like really cool. Like when Backstage first put me on to, I was like, yo, Deadmoon's like a cool ass name, I just want to like how did it start? Like the genesis of it.
It's a very long story, but I've always had the infatuation with the moon. I was born on the night of a full moon, and with being, I have very culturally superstitious parents. So coming from that background, they always told me like interesting things about like being this having to do with the moon and like timing and this and that. So I put some study into it and that, and found out that I actually have two birthdays. One is on August 14th, and the other is September 26th. My birthday's coming up on Wednesday, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're both night of the full moons and stuff. It's just, I don't know, something about the moon always infatuated me. And growing up, I've always been a very big anime fan, like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. And the way like they like nighttime, what's portrayed in like any anime is just really like ethereal, it's just different. And so there's a lot of things that come into making the name, because me my one of my very close friends, he would used to tell me that he wanted to do DMT, which is like a psychedelic drug that it's kind of like the most strongest you can find on Earth. And I put some research into that because I was kind of afraid of like what he was saying, like, hey, what's going on with you? You know what I mean? And so it's dimethyltryptamine. It's a chemical that every single living being carries with them. And it's something that you don't experience until you die. It's like basically on the moment of death. It's what people say, as their life flashing before their eyes, or seeing a stairway to heaven, or like seeing, whatever. It's that's what you're experiencing. Is the ultimate like life trip,
Yeah.
So I was like kind of tripping out on what he said. So I was just like, yo, look, you don't gotta, because we always had like big dreams, and we always like as a kid just talking about, hey man, we want to make it big someday with this music stuff, and like start like a tribe just for us, a place just for us, and people that don't believe. There's actually a whole philosophy that goes behind that, because he was struggling with drug abuse at the time, and so I just really want him to understand and know that I'm here for him, and that there's a spot for him when he chooses to come back, that
Right.
but essentially I made DeadMoonTribe a place for everyone that feels like they don't belong or feels like they need closure, because in the end we all die, and it takes death for us to realize that none of the stuff we fight about and we quarrel about in life really matters. In the end, it's just how much we loved and how much we cared about each other, and what's really is important.
Yeah, and you
So,
said
like,
that there's always a spot for people, and is that
Yes.
why like on the DMT Instagram it's like one / question mark?
Yes,
Okay.
that's exactly why.
Yeah,
Because
we
I
were
don't
looking
know.
at it and we were like, yo, why is there a question mark? Like, why is there not like another, like he's one of like what? And all right, it makes
Because
100% more sense.
because you are also part of it, and your friend Mike there is also a part of it.
Hey.
Because that's what I had, and that was the philosophy behind it when I first like came up with the idea, and like, hey, it's instead of just making it for me and my friends, let's make it a place for everyone. Let's not be selfish, just include everyone. So whether
Is that like a philosophy that you have with music or just with like DMT? Just because like rap was, I don't want to say it wasn't for everyone. It was originally, it originated like African American communities, like trying to tell their story and whatnot. And it opened up to like, yo, everybody raps now. Like you walk down a hallway in a college and you hear like you walk up to any door, you can hear somebody rapping down one hallway. You know what I mean?
I just want to say this, like, yes, rap is not for everyone. Hip hop is not for everyone. It's not, it takes a particular like ear to enjoy this type of music. But as far as I've known and as far as I've seen, hip hop is the only genre that basically can connect all cultures. Like there is basically a rapper of every like ethnicity.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? There's
rappers all across the globe.
Yes, there's exactly. There's rappers that like just from all over the globe, like from all ethnicity, and I think that's the only genre that exists on this planet that has that. Like no matter what, it doesn't reach. It's not like classical music or jazz that everybody can just turn it on and do homework to. But like the fact that the influence is so heavy,
Yeah, especially because rappers like they'll be rapping about living in like Compton or like whenever like NWA, like whenever they got big enough, they started doing tours, and people from different countries like they started like they're like, yeah, I fuck with that idea, like I vibe with what you guys are saying. It's not just I like the sound of it. It's like no, what you guys are saying is something prevalent across the entire world.
Yes, because it's just like the music itself is different, because we're like, yeah, there's rap songs that has hooks where you sing and this and that, but that's different. But like it's just the essential like embodiment of rap. It's the basic lyricism, it's the vocals, the speech, the poetics that comes behind it, and just the ability to like paint a picture in your mind without actually showing you the picture, you know?
Right.
And that's what goes behind it. And anybody can do that. And that's why there's a rapper of every ethnicity, because everybody sees that, or those that recognize it do see it, and they want to try, because, you know, I feel like everybody wants to express themselves one way or the other.
Right, and there's so many like subgenres of like rap too that if you don't like a certain genre, there's like something in there for you. And
Yeah.
also, it's so easy to like introduce a new piece of rap music to somebody, and they would like know immediately that if they like it or not, as opposed to like a different genre, like say like a rock song. Like with rock songs, like I feel like you kind of have your select bands and your select sounds that you already like, and anything that comes outside of that is, you know, it's going to be very tough to enjoy it, you know, like
Yes. And yes, and with rap, you can always find songs that are from different artists that sound similar or have a similar message. You know
Right.
what I mean? And it's always like, it doesn't have to be from just one band or one artist or one group, because hip hop itself is just all about self expression. You know, how do you feel at the time? What do you want to? What's on your mind? You know, what do you want to talk about? And a lot of that is just goes to like I said, people want to express themselves and they want to be heard, and that's why hip hop is so influential, because people, I feel like real hip hop, the real hip hop, you don't really like get into it unless you're like in a really like low state of like life. You know what I mean? Like, and that's like, not everyone has had the unfortunate luxury to, you know, experience that yet.
Yo, who do you not who? Well, yeah, who do you consider the real hip hop heads, and who are like the real hip hop artists at this point?
At this point, like mainstream wise, or just
No, just like who's been like, I guess from the beginning to where we are, like where we are now. Who is a real hip hop head?
man, that is because I want to. There's some names that I want to mention, but like with the things and the music they're putting out now, I don't know if it's going to be an honorable mention. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. There's some people that'll like they'll like make bangers like, and then because it's like, yo, Kanye made ridiculously good music his first three albums,
no doubt.
And then now you just have like, you're such a fucking hoe, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. He's like another person like him is just like out here playing with the kids.
Yeah, Eminem has always just been nonchalant about, you know, his image publicly, because he just, you know, there's no such thing as bad publicity, as you say, or as people say. So he never, you know, gave like much thought into who. He just, you know, spoke his mind and just what he didn't like or what he did like or what he felt at the time, which I always respected that. So that's, you know, like hip hop self-expression. But I think Kendrick has always been a true hip hop head, like since day one. You know, Good Kid, Mad City, to Pimp a Butterfly, to you know, all the way back to Section 80. Like, it's always just been gym after gym, you know.
Right.
And Cole has also he had his phase, but like I feel like in the root of it all, and like deep down, he still has that soul of a real like hip hop artist, because you can really hear the influence in his music.
Right. I feel like the only reason, you know, like ATM and stuff like that on KOD, I feel like the only reason he made those more I guess modern was just because he was like, you know, if I can get them in by listening,
it was to capture. I feel like it was to capture the younger like generation's attention, because it's more like their vibe, it's more their taste, you know.
Yeah. Because I mean,
so I feel like, of course, that because we all know, like, we've all listened to Cole and we all know what he really like, you know, is capable of. So yeah, I didn't think much of it. It's just I mean, the whole album itself is titled Kids on Drugs. So like the vibe of it, like I didn't expect, you know, it to be really true, like hip hop ish, you know what I mean?
You know, I like whenever I saw it was like kids on drugs, I thought it was more of a like a statement to where it's like, yeah, all these kids are like really out here on drugs, and we actually need to address this problem just because that's the type of
Yeah,
person he is.
yeah.
So that's
It sounded
like,
like a diss album at first to begin with, like kids
yeah,
on drugs, like just talking like shit on this generation, like um. But it turned out to be a pretty good project.
you know, speaking of projects, like right now you have 3 songs out, right? So,
Yeah.
is there a project like in the works, or is it just like this is what's done, this is what I'm gonna put out type feel?
Those songs have been done for a while. It's just I recently put them on like online and stuff. But project wise, I am still scheming in the works because I want to get a lot of people in my community involved. I
Okay.
want to everyone to maybe I don't know, hop on a track with me, produce for me, record a video for me, or like film me, or everybody just put in a piece of work, and really try to get the tribe going.
Yo, so you're really about like working with local artists and people like around you. Like, are there any names that you have right now that you've like worked with so far? You really want to work with?
See, like before, I didn't because I was very reclusive and like very just like I'm just I would say arrogant because I didn't care for like anybody else's stuff but my own. But as I grew like more as an artist and as a person, I kind of like just gained a different perspective. So now I just want to work with because before like I would have to listen to how your music sounds before I would even think about working with you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And but now I just kind of like peep like the philosophy behind your music, like it's just who you are as a person, like whether the music be good or bad, because that can be improved, that can always be improved. But it's just the like I said, the philosophy behind your music and who you are as a person, because that's what's the foundation, that's what's important. And if you have a solid foundation and something that is prosperable and is just I would say substantial, good enough, I would work with you.
Do you have anything that you're currently working on that like you can say has a projected date right now or anything like that?
Projected date, no, but I am working on a lot of projects, a lot of unfinished tracks, and a lot of just half-filled thoughts. You know how it is.
What would you say your process is going into making a new song? Like, is there a certain thing that like maybe catches your eye, or like a thought that that you really latch onto, and you're like, oh, I can really make a song about that.
Oh, bro, I am a perfectionist. So like that part, that part is the most difficult because it has to be the right vibe. The beat has to sound dope, and the lyrics has to fit, and everything just has to be right. But there is no certain because sometimes I be sitting like drinking coffee or whatever and just
Yeah.
minding our own business, and an idea would cross my mind, and I'm just thinking, oh, I could make a track off of this. And like that's just really how it starts. It's just I try to have fun with it more now, because before I try to make stuff that's more say deep.
Mm-hmm.
I focus more on that, and then I realized that people didn't really want to. So I try to like put a combination of both and mix it in, here and there, like a few tracks that are just kind of like deep, and a few tracks that you can just kind of like relax and smoke to, or drink to, or just vibe with.
Yeah, I feel you. Do you feel like you have to be right now tethered to that sort of vibe in your music, or do you feel like you can just like, or yeah, do you feel like free to make whatever you want, or tethered to just like, it has to be like this certain sound because this is what people are used to?
Well, I'm gonna always make music that I think is sound that I think sounds dope. You know what I mean? Whether
Yeah.
that whether that is your preferred vibe or not, that's not like really my concern, because I'm really just making music that feels good to me. And if I like it, I'm pretty sure someone out there is bound to like it as well. And that's just my like attitude towards it. Because if I think too much of it, is like, oh my God, what if Chelsea down the street might not fuck with this, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? When I start putting too much thought into that is when I like start putting shit in the archives, like, and then starts collecting dust and never to be seen again, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, how long have you been at it, like making all your music and whatnot?
Recording wise, maybe just short few years, like from high school till now, because I'm barely turning 22 next week or this week, in 2 days on Wednesday. So yeah, just a few years from recording, but I've been writing since like junior high to high school ish. Just writing lyrics, writing poetry, writing thoughts down. And from there, I try to just incorporate that into instrumentals and make it into a track.
Yo, when was the moment that did you ever hear a song that you were like, yo, I need to be able to convey my message across like this person? Like, was there
Oh my
anybody
gosh,
that you?
plenty, bro. The first song I ever heard that made me rethink my whole like philosophy behind everything was "Thieves in the Night" by Black Star. I don't know if you ever heard that song, but you need to check it out if you haven't. It's called "Thieves in the Night" by Black Star.
Black Star movement with Talib Kweli and Mostaf?
Yes.
I think the only song that like comes to mind when I think of them is when they did their remix of Children's Story.
Oh yes, that was dope too. But "Thieves in the Night," Mos Def's verse just like really like stuck with me for like the longest. Today I know every single like lyric to his verse, but yeah, no, that verse really like had me thinking like, man, why can't I, like say something like this? Why can't I like? It's just like made me like insecure, like shit. You know what I mean?
Yo, so going forward, um, how do you see DeadMoonTribe, or how do you see yourself? Like, where's the end goal? Is it like once you've reached X amount of people, or is it once you've gotten a deal, or like what's
Oh
the
no,
end
bro.
goal?
The deal and the followers were never in the picture. I just want to spread the message, man. I just want as many people to, maybe spend a few minutes and listen to some music, some real music, just to, I'm not saying like I have the best like hip hop tracks out there on, right now, but I'm saying that my music isn't trash. I can say that, you know what I mean? Because I really do think that it's something that comparatively it could be. I could see it being played on the radio or something. On a good alternate universe or something.
Yeah, where they don't give radio play to everyone that's signed to a label and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. But I want the end goal. I want to just be able maybe have my own label, have my own stuff. Just our own everything, and just spread our philosophy as much as we can.
Yo, that's hella dope, bro. We really appreciate you for coming through.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah, and are there any things that you want to plug, like any socials?
Well, first, I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity, to have this talk and stuff. It's nice to always find like-minded individuals when it comes to music or, outlooks on life or whatever. But
Yeah, go ahead and yeah, for sure, bro. We really appreciate you coming through. Go ahead and plug all your Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever you want to plug, bro.
oh yeah, go ahead and follow the DeadMoonTribe. Twitter, I don't really tweet that much, but if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's a DeadMoonTribe RO. That's the at. And my personal Instagram is DeadMoonJD. That's deadmoon.jd, JADEE. And yeah, give me a follow.
Where can we
Take some
find your
time,
music?
listen to my music. Yeah, my music's on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, anywhere your closest, nearest streaming service. But the most music I have uploaded online is on my SoundCloud, which is soundcloud.com/real real hip hop with the underscore between real and hip hop. And yeah. Oh yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity again, guys. And you guys have a very wonderful day.
You too. Thanks for coming.
Yo, it's your boy Backstage Phantom. We want to say thank you once again for listening all the way through. Even if you just skipped through, we really appreciate you stopping by. Please let us know how we can improve. Let us know who you want to see on the show. Smash that like button, like everybody else says, bro. If you want to dislike, we appreciate that. Just let us know what we can do to improve. We're here to help you guys. We're here to help these artists. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to follow everybody if you want more information and you want to hear more music.